Hello, everyone. Almost Shabbat Shalom. Almost. Not quite, almost. Let's see that we are online. I want to see that we are online. Yes, we are. Hello, everyone. Welcome to you who are here and to you who will be here later. So let's put this in here. All right. So hello everyone. Almost Shabbat Shalom. It is sunny here. It could be rainy over there where you are, but it doesn't matter because where we are is what we make. And yeah. So I want to talk today to share with you today, and it's really how interesting how the events of the week or the events of the day correspond many times directly, if not all the time, directly to what we talk about or what we share, and not necessarily in these Friday videos, but or in the podcast. Plug in, abracadabra, create what you speak. Usually on Sundays at noon. But in daily life, when we speak about something, we're actually reenacting things that we're going through. Things that we experience within ourselves, things we experience through others. And let's face it, we live our life and we are experiencing ourselves based on the interaction with another person. If we were only on a lonely island, we could have been content, but we don't know because there is no the reflection of ourselves through others, like how others see us, and how we are reflected through them. And so, like how we talk about that if I'm in a certain mode, I attract certain people. Right? So that's a reflection of where I am. If I'm in a certain mode, in a certain vibe, in a certain vibration, right? So I will attract the people and the scenarios and the situations into our life. So today what I want to touch upon is really a key to independence and joy, independence, our own independence, and really kind of like happiness. Like, people say, and I want to distinguish because some people think that happiness is tied with getting something. Oh, when I'll get there, I'll be happy, or when I will receive that statue or that whatever, then I'll be happy. And that's a skewed way of looking at it, because it is putting our happiness onto something else. Based, my happiness will be complete when I will get A, B, C, or D. So, for example, let's look at coming from childhood, for example. I like to have it straight. There you go. When we look at childhood and and we look at things that we felt happy, that we felt complete in, many times we put it on external source. Because as we are forming and as we grow up, and all these years we are forming, we are learning about ourselves from the environment. That's why we are working on things from our childhood, because we were indoctrinated into a certain way of thinking. And our patterns are based on, our traumas are based from that time. Patterns can also happen later in life, or we're starting to do something, so it wasn't really an exact, an accurate description. But our traumas many times are related to our childhood. Of course, as we go through life, we experience different trauma situations. But if we look down to what boils down to these traumas that we're experiencing later in life, what we notice that our reaction mode, or our whether it will be survival or whether it will be fight or flight, or all this is based on how we were conditioned, on how we grew up, and how we perceived what we perceived, and our work, this work, is really to break out of that grain, you know, and so that brings us to that we're many times enslaved to the external situations. And I'll take the extreme situation, for example, a commercial. You know, there was in Israel one time, and I'm sure there are commercials here like that. Give the man a beer, this beer or that beer, which means if you don't drink that beer, you're not a man, right? Or there are different variations of these different things. You want to feel free. Freedom is in that car that you are driving. Oh, you can feel how the freedom is flowing through your fingers as you move the stick shift. Well, stick shift all days, but right? Which means, oh, if you don't do that, then you're not free. Or if you don't drink that beer, then you're not. So what turns up to be is subconsciously, we go to the store and we pick a beer so I could feel that. Now, I'm not thinking about it consciously, right? A person may not think about it consciously. We'll go and we'll subconsciously choose that because it's been indoctrinated. There were older commercials, I don't know if they still do that, but the older commercials of Coca-Cola where they inserted in their commercials, and it was during big events like football or something like that, they inserted, if there were 24 frames at that time, in film, there every last frame they would insert a picture of Coke. Now, because the film was fast, so it's just a snapshot, a really quick snapshot of that Coke bottle, and and that snapshot is going into the receptory mode. So it's being sitting here, it sits here, and then eventually when I go to the stand, I'm like, oh, you know what? I feel like Coke. So that's like this subliminal messages. So we are enslaved. We are enslaved to what we are indoctrinated. We were born into the stories of my parents, of your parents, or your society. What would others say? What would other people say? No, I can't do that because. No, I can't wear. I remember when I was a kid, one sock didn't find the other, and I was going to a family event, I remember, and I wore two socks, different socks. One was brown, I think, and one was black. I said, no, nobody will pay attention. Now, I knew I was paying attention, but in my indoctrination, it was like, no, you can't have two socks of two different colors. You have to have two socks with the same color of shoes, and that socks have to match your belt and do that because that's the fashion. Who dictates the fashion? Media or whoever that is, doesn't matter. And I remember I was called out on it by my cousin, and she laughed and she said, look, you're wearing two different socks. Today I purposefully wear today I wear an inside out shirt. Why? Because I don't want to put a logo of whatever company is on that shirt. But I don't care. I'm a trendsetter. So I will, whatever is comfortable for me. When I go to a restaurant, I will choose what I want to eat, not the sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it's not. Like, I don't like this thing, I want to exchange it. I'm paying the bill, so I will choose what I want to eat. So it is not about how I'm indoctrinated, but how I feel comfortable with myself, in my own body, in my own skin. And that has to do with different areas in diet, people that are going through certain diets, and people that are doing certain work, how it has to be, how it has to appear. And what we end up being, we're being enslaved. We're being enslaved when we're born, when we're registered into all the system and everything, and okay, that's really a bigger thing. But I'm talking about the details of our own confinements, of how we are conducting ourselves. So many times we're feeling enslaved. We're enslaved when I compare. So if somebody would live on a lonely island with his apartment or whatever, but there's nobody around, the person will feel fine because there is no comparison. There is no, oh, that person is there, so I'm to see there. There is no anything to bounce off. So many times that's why when we do work, it's good to do work by ourselves. Some people can do very good work by themselves, on themselves. But when it comes down to it, we need that interaction. We're not born to be alone. So we need that interaction to reflect it back to us. So when we are enslaved, that brings up a lot of things. One of the biggest things that it brings up is jealousy. And jealousy has many forms, and it can play out in many ways and many forms. So I want to look in jealousy also from the Hebrew words, what it means, because each Hebrew letter has a different meaning, and the way it's written and why it comes after a certain letter and what it means. And also this particular word in jealousy is also describing the process that the person is going through when they're going through jealousy. It's the process. It's like what's happening, not whether I feel good. It's just the process of what's happening when we are going through a process or through an emotional reaction of jealousy. So in this portion, God is talking about Pinchas, and we talked about it in the last verse. But he's talking about what Pinchas did. He killed a couple, and there was a big plague at that time because somebody didn't do something right in the eyes of God or of how it was perceived. And then that person, Pinchas, the son of Elazar of Aaron HaKohen, he went and he killed a person, a Jewish person who brought a non-Jew into the temple and did all kinds of things, and he went and he killed them. And then the plague stopped. So what it's talking about, I don't want to talk about that aspect because that is a whole different subject of killing, of not killing, but the idea behind it. And God is saying, "Vekineli et kinati betocham," which means he was jealous for me in the people. So he was jealous for me, like zealous. Okay, so there is the jealous and there is the zealous. So there are two different things. They're almost the same. They're the same spelling, except for one letter, the J and the Z. Right. So the jealous is affecting our ego. Is really is what is in it for me. Why does that person have what they have and I don't? Why does that person does what I do and I don't? How come I'm working all my life? And this person is just cruising through, has a free reign of everything. It's like everything is handled over. So I want to say that as far as our spiritual journey, every person was given the tools to master his own tikkun, to master his own journey and his own fixing in this lifetime of elevating the soul into different soul level, to a higher soul level. So every person is given these amount of years, this amount of time, and the tools to do it within this amount of time. And so my journey is different than your journey. You have different tools. You have a different path of a journey to go through certain lessons. So when you meet someone, the question to ask is, why am I meeting this person? What in this connection with this person I'm to take? What am I here to learn? Because, right, we're reflecting one another. So also the other person. Both, it goes on both sides. This is the Venn diagram. That's how we connect, like the tree of life, the circles of life. How do we connect to each person? And when we enter a circle, we are entering a story at a certain point. Two circles that are coming together, we're entering a story at a certain point to create, to co-create whatever we're co-creating. It hopefully it's positive, and then we exit the story. And so it could stay positive, or whatever we make of it is going to be the lesson that we took from that. So when we come into a story, each one of us has a different set of tools. One person is good in consistency. The other person is good in creativity. This person is good in this person is good in that. It's not about what we have. It's not about the tangible things. The tangible things are the tools, are part of the tools that we are given and that we acquire through our deeds to help us in our journey. But we already have all the tools to move through our journey. So if we strip out everything, all the riches of everything, of all the, we have the tools within us to move through this journey of life, move through this incarnation of our spiritual journey. And when we come in contact with another person, if we're noticing that we're like, oh, why is this person having that, and why does this person have that, and I don't have this, the thing to tell ourselves is, I have a different set of tools. I have a different journey. That is like many times people come and they feel competition with one another. I know I've been there, feeling competition, but when I remember that I'm unique, that person is unique, each person is a whole world, then there is no really competition, because each person, let's say you talk about the same subject, right? You talk about the same thing. You're both healers. You're talking about the same thing. Every person has their own gift and their own way of delivering and bringing the other person to heal. Now, whether the other person will connect to this person or that person, that's their journey. But if I am modifying my actions and how I am just to fit in, I'll never win, because I'm not fitting into my own place. I'm fitting myself into a different game of somebody else. And when I say game, I mean, if we look at everything, we're really in a game. We're really like in a stage, and we're actors in it, right? But we're trying to fit ourselves into somebody else's shablona, template. And when we do that, many times we fail. Why? Because our edges are not rounded to be that. And if we're succeeding to do that, it's for a very short period of time. Because after a while, we come back to we revert back to our personality, what we are here to do, and how we are with ourselves. So in one way, we see when God says, you are zealous for me, so that looks like a good thing. On the other hand, in the Mishnah, it says, Hakinah, jealousy, Hata'ava, the lust, the desire, and Hakas, the anger, takes the person out of this world. Jealousy, desire, and anger takes the person out of this world. Now, what is this world? We are the world. The Kabbalah says that each person should look at themselves, at herself or himself, as the world was created for them. Later I understood that it's not only about us, or it's not only about me, but the world is created for me. Why? Because my unique expression in this world is nowhere to be found anywhere else. Your unique expression in the world cannot be found anywhere else. Therefore, the world that you are experiencing is only for you. The world that you are going through, that you are navigating through, is only for you. So the jealousy, the anger, and the desire gets a person out of this world, physically and ideally, like an idea, like an ideological thing. Why? Because it gets us out of this world, which means our blood rushes in an unnatural way So our jealousy takes things within us out that are part of our traumas. That is, how do we act in these situations? So one person can just close up and start doubting themselves. Another person can be vindictive, can say, you know what, I'm going to do this, and because he has that, he's not going to have. How many times I heard it in past? Oh, if I cannot have you, nobody can have you. You know, that kind of thing. That's jealousy, and that creates different kind of anger and different kind of desire, and that takes us out of this world, out of our world, and out of this world, in the realm that we are. Take us out. I cannot, if you cannot have this, I cannot. So there is a contrast. So when is jealousy good? It has to do with our intention. So we have the words. We have our words, what we say. And there are, and I talk about, abracadabra, the words that we create can create world, and can also ruin the worlds. Ruin worlds, meaning our world and different dimensions. Different selves in different experiences. So there is jealousy that can be in a good way. And when is that? When it doesn't have to do with me. The zealousy. The zealousy usually doesn't have to do with me. I'm zealous to God. I'm zealous for the person in front of me. I want the best for them. And if somebody offends you, I'm going to be there to. Maybe you don't have the tools to still stand strong, because maybe you are closing up and you're allowing to be beaten up and just like being judged and all these kind of things. So I'm zealous for your health. And that is good. Jealousy, when it comes to, oh, what do I have or what do I not have? Usually, and the jealousy will lead to unhappiness. Somebody who is jealous is not happy. So look about comparison. Oh, they have that, I don't have this. They have that, I don't have this. And somebody who is jealous is stopping enjoying what they have, what they currently have. And the jealousy can come in different forms. Whether I'm good enough, I'm not good enough, I could have had that, I don't have this, why do I have? Let's look, let's see where you are. Let's see what has God given you, what you've created for yourself. And the gratitude starts diminishing all these feelings. And to remember that we are our own unique journey. We have our own unique set of tools. So I want to also, jealousy brings us into a judgment, and we start judging others. So we say, oh, why does he have? Oh, he's probably this and this and that and that. That's why he has that. Oh, she got ahead because she slept her way up. No, I don't know this person. How do I know what happened? But I'm judging. I'm creating a negative vibration. The jealousy, the shame, it all comes down to shame. But all these negative energies have a very low vibration, very low frequency. So that creates an effect that affects me and affects my judgment. And so then the judging of a person comes. So if there is a sentence in Judaism, it says, "Hakol bidei shamayim chutz miyirat shamayim." Everything is in God's hand. Like, our journey was determined. Our journey, what we have to, in the sense of what are we here to do? What are we here to do in this life? One of the things to look at, how to determine what is my tikkun, what is my soul's purpose, is to see the issues, the physical issues in this world, in this creation, that are very strong in my life, that are prevalent, that are there. What I'm dealing with, whether it is addiction, whether it is any of those things, that means that the bigger the issue is, that has the priority of what my soul is here to learn through and to fix, in the sense, not that it was broken. To fix, in a sense, is like to align the jigsaw puzzle back to its place, so I can ascend. So if everything is, and what it means, the sentence is, everything is in the hands of skies. It's called sky, but in the hands of God, except for the zealousness to God. So that zealousness, that's honest. The honest of creation is individualistic. comes from my choice to be zealous and to be in awe, to have moments of awe in life, of awe, moments of awe and of creation, of what is around me, right? So can we affect that? Can we affect, if everything is known, if I know that I have a certain years and certain, when we're looking at this portion of Pinchas, because he did what he did, and because he elevated certain things, because of his zealousness, he did something that elevated him. So good deeds that we do, it's like giving us credit in the bank. And those things are changing, and it's not a matter of, oh, God is punishing or God is rewarding, it's a matter of a cause and effect. So when I do good deeds, my cause, my action affects what I get. To simplify things, I have a jug of water, and one of those machines, those things that like water, 5 gallons, goes down. And I put all around on the bottom of the jug, because it's upside down, so the water will be mostly there, rather than in the middle on top. I put like different affirmation words and love words. Love, I love you, you're great, cherish, kisses, all these positive that is infused into the water that I'm drinking. And that goes back to, I talked about many times about the Professor Masaru Emoto, the Japanese, that did the rice experiment, the water experiment, and he wanted to show that water has memory, and creating different, putting positive things versus negative things. How does that affect the water? And so if we are more than 80% water, how do we affect what we say with our words? So there is the words, but then there is also what's important about the words is the intention behind the words. What is my intention when I say the word? What is my intention when I mean good for you? When somebody tells me about something that happened for them, they got this job or they got this inheritance, or whatever, and I'm genuinely happy for them. So I will say that, and it will be known. You can tell. If somebody is not genuine, I promise you can tell that the person is not genuine. Although he spoke the words, he or she spoke the words, you know that the person is not genuine. Why? Because the intention did not fuel the words in the right direction or in the good direction. It infused it in a different direction that came from jealousy. So I want to talk about jealousy. Oh, no, it's good. Okay, you can read it right. From right to left. Hebrew is right to left. So here is the word kuf. Actually, it's kof. Right? So we see this here. This letter is depicting, and this is the process of a person goes through, what a person goes through in a time of jealousy. Right? There are 3 stages. First of all, many times the person closes down. This is the line of the kuf that goes down, it drags you down. It drags you down. It's open here. There is no solid base like this one. There is no solid base. It's open. It's very on the air. And this letter is standing on a very thin line that is very wiggly. It can go here or there. So this is what the first stage happens when somebody is experiencing jealousy. They start closing up. Closing up doesn't mean it stays like it, but they start closing up. And they start all kind of, This is the second stage. You can see that this is like a person that sits. Here are the legs. There is the back. And there is the head that goes like this, like head is down. Head is down. Gets close into himself. Now, on the positive side of jealousy, by the way, zealousy and jealousy are written in the same way. They're the same letters. It's not like in English. English has different content. In Hebrew, it's meaning the same thing because it's a pivotal word. And you can be zealous and you can be jealous. So in the positive way, it's somebody who is humble, somebody who is humble and is aware of the lay of the land. In the negative connotation, the person, after they close down, they get a shock. It's like then they go into themselves. The Aleph has a line with 2 like little flames. This Aleph is representing the fire, the spiritual fire. So the person gets and it goes into themselves, and now the spiritual fire Where is it fueled from? From these two. It's fueled from these two. So when you have the spiritual fire, what is fueling it? There are many words with the spiritual fire letter, but where is it fueled from? So it's fueled from this negative energy of going down, what happened, the shock, and so that. And so this is really to remember when this happens, when we're experiencing this jealousy, is to remember that we have our own set of tools, that we have our own set of journey. I want to bring another thing. This is the other. I'm covering it on purpose here. This is the other letter that represents fire, Shin. This is the one letter before the last one, and you can see it has like 3 flames, right? This represents the physical fire, when we have fire that is coming out of, let's say, anger, right? It's a physical fire. It's something that is animalistic. And the interesting thing is that when we take the spiritual fire together with the physical fire, this is actually a word. It's called Esh, and that means fire. Fire. So we have the spiritual fire and the physical fire. And if we think about that, that element of fire, it is the only element that can change a different element. So it can melt metal, it can use air to be a bigger fire, right? Water will turn off the fire, right? Water will put it off. That's the exact opposite. But the spiritual fire, so you have the spiritual fire and the physical fire, and that creates esh. That creates that fire. And when we put in the middle Yud, it's a representation of God. So when you have God in the middle and you think about the positive and about the other person, then only positivity can come out of it. So this is really what I wanted to share about today. Is when do we find ourselves in a situation where and if we're not familiar with, let's see how our body is reacting. When you enter a place, what does your body feel? When you meet a person, what does your body feel? Listen to your instincts. The first instinct that you get is 99.9% the right one. The right one, because that's your instinct that is coming in. The reason that the 0.01% can be a derivative of where you are. If you're in a jealous space, your instinct may be derived from that space already. So it's to check with ourselves, how are we? Are we in our center? Oh, wait, I feel this with this person. Something is off here. Why do I feel this? So I wish for you, I wish for me, I wish for everybody to just recognize the tools that we have to our journey. And the source of happiness is never on the outside. And it takes a lifetime to figure that out sometimes. Hey, c'est la vie. But everybody has a different set of tools and everybody has a different journey. So it's to come eventually to discover that source of happiness is within you. And when the source of happiness is within you, you don't need anything. Because if we are operating from a place of a need, it doesn't matter if it's jealousy or not. I need that, then I become that need. And everything that I do is based on what I need. So I become that need. I'm not leading it with myself. So sending you much love, that this Shabbat and the weeks to come and every day will remember your journey and your set of tools to create your own world, which you are whole of it. Shabbat Shalom.